Pampas and Pencils.
This is Gally, owners of Pampas Gal.
And my name is Orlandis. I am owner of Interiors on Point and Top Contracting. This is the episode, The Art Behind Filmmaking.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Grab a coffee and let's chat.
So today's episode is super exciting. We have a guest host, Victoria Williams. She is filmmaker and mom, and she's going to hang out with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I love this V cup.
Yes, we got her a little gift.
Super adorable.
I need to have a matching cup now because I forgot my mug and I'm repping Tim Hortons today.
It's okay. We'll get you a G.
Yeah.
So how is business? Let's get into and talk about business. Gally, what's new and exciting for you?
What's new and exciting? I just did the Blush bridal show over the weekend, and that was really fun to meet our 2023-2024 brides that are coming up. So I'm realizing that I really love the wedding industry because I was primarily in retail before, and now I'm starting to transition into weddings and absolutely love it. I think I just love it being in the industry of love.
It's beautiful. Like, even going to weddings, you're like, oh, I'm in love.
Are you using your Pampas designs at the wedding?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So that's primarily what I do now. I just create big installations. So florals on archways, bouquets, aisle arrangement. So creating like these big giant showpieces.
We did one together, I think back in March or February.
Of last year, yeah.
Oh, it was so cool.
That's how I met Orlandis, actually, because I was like, I need to find an interior designer to like get my stuff into boutiques. So that's kind of how we linked up, and then we've been friends ever since.
I know. I love Orlandis' interior. We're doing my kitchen. Slowly
Yes.
but surely,
Exciting.
we're doing it. Yeah.
How about you? How's business for you?
We recently just went on site for a spa that we got to see that we're going to be kind of doing, and then we are, I don't know if I'm allowed to say what projects I'm working on this month, but this month is going to be really crazy for me that I'm going to be hiding away in BC. Well, I shouldn't say that because now I don't know where I'm hiding.
I can cut that out.
I'm going to be hiding away. You don't know what location. But we have a few deadlines, so I know we have 3 big projects that we're working on, and I will get to release it in the next couple of weeks. I know a few of them we could start pushing out. I can't wait to start, showcasing the new projects that we've been working on, because I think the newer projects that I've been working on kind of has this new creative Orlandis. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, it's like the rejuvenated Orlandis.
Yeah. I love it.
The healed Orlandis.
The one who slept now. Catching up on sleep.
Oh, yes. Yeah, how about you? How is everything with you?
Everything is really great. Just have 3 kids at home. So when you did the 8:30 a.m. call time, I'm like, that's lunchtime for me.
Oh, awesome.
I was like, sure, I'm up. No, things are going really, really great. I've got the documentary, the trailers on YouTube.
Nice.
And so, if you guys want to know about
so
it.
excited to chat more about and pick your brain on filmmaking.
I'm pretty pumped. I'm really pumped. How I know Victoria is through friends. I think all 3 of us have something really cool in common.
The pageant
Pageantry.
vibes, pageant bonds. We
Pageant
went through it.
sisters.
Yeah. I competed in 2009 for the Miss Universe Canada. She has, I think you were the year before me, right?
I was 2006.
2006.
Yeah.
And you are 2000.
I think it was 14 or 16.
14.
Oh, so
I don't remember.
you're most recent.
Yeah.
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 I feel like mine was 20 years ago. But
I know. Mine's still in black and white photos.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think competing in those pageants kind of really made us who we are today.
Mm-hmm.
Just with like being able to handle constructive criticism and confidence.
Yeah.
And a lot of the girls that I met at the pageant were just really take the world by storm type of girls, and
Oh my God.
yeah, just some great friendships came from that.
I do have a few friends still. I haven't reached out. I know I have one girlfriend. She's in Calgary now. But it's kind of cool seeing people who you've competed with, and then you like follow them now and see where like
watch their life transform. I know Facebook
Yeah.
came out when in like 2007, so all the pageant girls were kind of, and I've watched their lives kind of unfold, and some of them are really fabulous, and you know, and then there's me. Just kidding.
You're still fabulous.
It's like,
Or
oh well.
when you look back at your photos, especially when you're on stage in your bathing suit, I was like, wow.
It took me so long to even look at those photos.
Yeah.
Like, it was hard to, oh gosh, right? Like, I'm still shy and embarrassed. It was just, it was a lot.
There's a lot to think about when you're in pageantry too. Like, you're thinking about like what your hair looks like, what your face looks like, how you're dressed, and then not only that, but it's like not only the physical appearance, but like how you talk, how you answer a question. Like, I feel like that has taught me so much, which is like being on the ball, being able to answer very quickly, but like not even just answer with whatever, like you have to answer with value.
That's true.
You know?
I just remember having to eat a donut with a knife and fork, right? Like, we did some etiquette training.
Oh, cool.
And I was just like, you watch this. This is a proper way to eat a donut, okay?
It's like Princess Diaries.
I remember doing classes of just learning how to walk the runway.
Don't even.
Oh my god.
It's like,
All the girls would have manicures, like just the natural manicures. I had to do a solid color because the bruises underneath my nails, just learning to walk, and those in like 6-inch heels.
Yeah. No, I still don't know how to walk. It was like a dance routine in there.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Like, they were like, you get to the back. I was like, what are we doing exactly? Like, I have no rhythm.
I was pushed to the back too.
Yeah, okay, good. Because some girls were so sad to get to the back. I was like, oh my god, thank god no one can see me. Cadillac Ranch. Like, let's go. Yeah, no, it was fun for me. I wasn't as serious. Like, I didn't take it as serious as a lot of people there, because for my pageant, it was supposed to be a reality show.
Oh,
So they were calling it Becoming Miss Canada, and I was like, I'm just gonna make jokes the whole time, and it's not a big deal. And then they canceled it about 2 weeks before we were to fly to Montreal, and I'm like, uh-oh, what's a pageant? Like, I didn't really know. I had this idea, like, I knew Donald Trump was involved somehow.
I think at the time back then he owned Miss Universe.
Yeah.
Like, that was a franchise.
That was a big deal. And The Apprentice was on, so everyone
Yeah.
was like, yes, we get to go to Trump Tower. And, you know,
Yeah.
that would have been kind of cool if, you know.
Yeah, no, I remember that because the year that I competed, it was online, and it was supposed to go for that reality show too.
oh, wow.
And
I'm so glad mine wasn't online. And that there's no, like, searchable image.
oh,
Because...
mine's still on there.
Is there? Okay, yeah, no, because I'm
Oh, mine's
just...
on there.
Yeah. There was one, like, online gallery. Like, remember how they used to have, like, at the bar, those online galleries?
Yeah.
Well, there was a similar one like that with the pageant, and it's, like, me eating bacon.
Ah!
And I'm like, this picture
why?
doesn't need to exist. Like, why? And I'm posing, too. It's like... Yeah, it's just awkward. It's all around awkward. I was totally awkward.
Yeah, no, it was it's a fun experience. Like,
It's an experience of a lifetime, for sure. Like, I still save my sash.
like,
there's-
I too. Do you?
Yeah, I have a
there's
sash
moments
too.
that I'm really proud of, like, doing that, and
She
then...
has a crown.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it's like, okay, like,
she's the winner, then.
She has a crown
Oh,
in her
my
closet.
God! She has a crown, everybody.
oh man,
She's gonna wear
my
it one day on the
Oh
episode.
my God. Yeah. No, I think my sash has, like, some makeup marks on there. It's like, I still have it, though.
Do you have your pageant dress that you competed in?
I do.
Yeah,
Me too.
Yeah.
It's like, I almost want to get rid of it sometimes, but then I'm like, there's some sentimental quality to it where it's like, no, I really, yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't really care. I just like, I feel like I have the photos, and the photos to me is enough sentiment that I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'll donate the dress. But I still have it. I just have no reason to like give it away yet. But
Sure. What color was your dress?
mine was a teal blue.
Ooh,
Yeah.
mine was gold.
Mine was gold.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I know. I
Mine's
felt
gold.
like so gold member. I was
Yeah.
like, gold.
Yeah. Mine was gold and very
Silky. Mine was silky.
Oh Mine was
Mine was
very.
stuffy too.
Mine was like low, no back, high slit. Like if I could fit in that, I probably couldn't. Maybe just one leg, I probably could fit. Because one thing, I don't know if you girls, it's like the pressures of being competing and the body image.
Oh my gosh.
Had really twisted my mindset.
Yeah.
It was like, don't feed the models.
Yes.
Right? Like, don't eat. My mom came with us, and she had a mini fridge in her room, and we would all run up to her room and, like, take a bite of a pizza sub or something and then run back downstairs. And she was like, oh my God, they're so hungry. Right? And then when you don't eat, your mind isn't right.
No.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my mind was totally, like, not right during that whole experience. But you know what? You live and you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of the physical stuff, like, I remember now, it's just, like, I still do it. Like, if I'm posing, I'll, I'll position my legs in a certain way to pop my booty out.
I do
right?
the walk all the
Point
time.
my toes. Or, like, they even taught us how to sit. So if you sit, like, you have to tuck your feet back. Just, like, all these, like, dainty stuff. And then your hands have to be, like, on your lap.
Yeah.
So all these little things now, like, when I am having to, like, do a photo shoot or something, I remember those things.
It's hard to be natural.
Yeah.
Because you were taught to pose, like, a certain way. Everyone's like, you're such a poser. I'm like, I know. Of course.
Now do the wave.
Yeah. I just remember not really caring that I didn't win, right? Like, I was so excited to go home. My feet were black. I was emotionally, like, exhausted. But, yeah, so I didn't have the mindset, like, I'm going to win this. Like, I was just like, I'm here. I'm going to have a good time. This might lead to other opportunities. Yeah. But a lot of the girls there were really, serious and focused. And I thought they were crazy. Orlandis is like, that was me. No, I know. It was hard.
Yeah, no, it's kind of cool, but it's kind of cool because when you do go into something, like, you train for a year,
you
go through all these cuts, and then you travel, and then you compete in Montreal, Toronto. Where did you?
In Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like the east side that's very into
Pageantry.
the pageantry.
Oh yeah. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
they took anybody. I was like, how did I sneak in here?
Yeah. Oh, you're beautiful.
No, but I literally was like, when I got there, I saw Supermodel. When I first got there, I'm like, are you in this? Well, then I'm not. Like, this is not for me. Like, and she ended up winning, right? Like, she was the first person I saw. She was 6'4".
What was her name?
Alice.
Oh, yes, I remember her.
Yeah, I think she placed top 10 the year. Yeah, so she was runner-up from Miss Universe, because when I was in it, Natalie Glebova won Miss Universe.
Yes.
So she was giving the crown to Alice. It was a big deal. And I'm like, there is just no way. I only got some, like, airtime in the front because I'm short. Right? So, like, they put me in the front, and I'm like, hey. But at the same time, I'm like, this is not really for me. I'm not a model or, like, a dancer or...
The girls were really tall.
Yeah.
I thought I was tall, but when I got there, they were like 6 feet. I was like, wow, I feel short.
Very short.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pageant that I was at, they had a petite, like, section, so I fell under petite.
Oh,
so they had, like,
perfect.
the full like height, and then they have the petite section. So they both have different crowns. So I'm like,
so your crown was littler.
I don't know. No,
Maybe
shorter, petite,
or should be taller.
She had the bigger crown
to compensate. Stand next to the winner of the full-grown girl.
It's kind of cool. So when we started connecting and doing work together, I think Callie's like, we did pageants. I was like, oh my god, that was like our common ground. Like right away, we're like, oh, we're best friends.
Yeah,
I know. Well,
we get each other.
Orlandis and I knew each other from Friends, and I looked at her Instagram, and I was scrolling through, at like 2 a.m, just being a creep, and I see a pageant photo, and I was like, got so excited. I think I messaged you like right then. I'm like, oh my god, you were in Miss Canada. Like, it's a bond to go through,
So something that we're doing is, I'm sure if you've heard some of our podcasts, like we're doing affirmations. So kind of just reminding ourselds, like, I don't know, gives us a nice like little reset, or like to remind ourselves like how we want to kind of take on the week. So Orlandis, do you want to start with your affirmation for the week?
I'm gonna stick with I am creative because I'm going in a month of creating some really cool designs. So I want to keep pumping out my creativity, and so in order for me to stay creative, I want to be focused, and then it just trickles down of like, I guess, taking care of myself, because I've noticed one thing I guess I could now say I struggled was with a creative block. I had a creative block for the past few months, and it was so tough on me, the fact that I was like not producing. And when you are a visionary and you're very creative, and sometimes it just comes to you naturally, but when that creative just stops, you just get so frustrated.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep saying I am creative. I am gonna pump out some really cool designs, and I'm just gonna, tell myself that I am very capable of that.
Heck yeah, you are.
Where do you find your inspiration? Like, what inspires you?
People. So people who are around me inspire me. Places. So places. I do want to travel more. I do want to be by water more. I am going away for a little bit. And my kids are here right now. They're whispering in the background. What is your affirmation?
Okay, well, my affirmation, I love I am enough.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like wanting to do more. It's like I'm not doing enough. I'm not enough.
Yeah.
But you are enough, just in your own being.
Yeah.
But my other motto for this week is, if you can't tone it, tan it.
Oh,
And that's from my stylist, Cody. Thank you. Yeah, so so I'm really tanned up because I'm not toning it. That's for sure.
So, Corey, I really like that piece of advice.
Yeah. It's like, if you can't tone it, tan it.
Callie and I will be at the next tanning salon. How about you, Callie?
I think what I want to remind myself is that I am organized, because I feel like lately I've been dropping the ball a little bit for, like, I don't know, just like certain projects, and it's because I'm taking on so many different things at the same time. But with that being said, I remember what I need to do. Like, I'm like, oh, this still needs to be completed. This, like, I have all these thoughts marked in my head, but executing them requires time and sleep. So it's like, and also, my boyfriend just got a job, so I've been driving him to work until we figure out like the vehicle situation. So
Congratulations, David.
yeah. And so I kind of feel like I'm like, this is what it feels like to be a mother.
Yeah.
Having to pack lunch, having to go,
Clearly.
having to drive.
As my daughters are jumping in the background.
I'm like, okay, I know this is like, my partner, but I'm like, I am preparing myself. It's been hard, like waking up in the morning. I am like, oh, do I have to wake up this early in the morning? But like, I'm like telling myself, hey, like, this is a good prep when you have a family, when you have children, like, you're gonna have to live this lifestyle. So you might as well get it into it now. So I'm starting to actually make breakfast and like think about our lunches and like but then also making sure that I have all my stuff for my drop-offs or how I'm gonna plan my entire day. So like my schedule now is kind of flipped, but at the same time I just feel like I need to be more organized to be more efficient.
And you kind of set that routine.
Yeah, so now it's like routine building for probably the next 2-3 weeks.
Are you a person that likes to organize digitally or digitally?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't even know how to do that. I have to write it down like on a old-fashioned.
Want to see my schedule?
Yeah. Oh, wow. So, and then you probably get reminders on your phone and everything's just so, that's really, really cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of hectic, but it's I know that I will get organized.
I've learned from her. Like, now
You
I
look really organized. I think your affirmation is working.
It's just gonna enhance it more.
Sometimes I think the fact that I'm organized, but like I said, I'm very analytical. So I'll be like, hey, I need to do this. I have it all in my head, but I don't communicate it. So even though outside seems like I'm very organized, sometimes I think people don't know how busy I am because I put on a really good face. So I am very like centered when I'm with people, but like when I go home, like, oh, and same with my partner. I feel like he doesn't fully know like how crazy my life is.
Do you get thrown off if something? Yeah, like so you have an appointment at 1 and they're not
the
there.
anxiety just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
Because I'm so organized and I've accounted it. Yeah. I've accounted for everything. So like I'm like, cool, this is gonna time block for 2 hours. But like within the 2 hours I'm gonna be like more free flow. I can live in the moment. Yeah. But like the moment, like it's like 10 minutes, 15 minutes before like the time frame. I'm like, all right, I gotta go. Bye.
Do you have moments where you just are in the moment and you're like, I'm not gonna think about work or not?
I've had to schedule that.
Yeah, right. I know, it's like, this is my time to just,
I've had to schedule me time in just so that I can allot that time in.
And hangouts.
Yeah.
She's like, hold on.
But I love spontaneity too. So like, you know, when we went out for lunch and you're like, hey, do you want to go for lunch? I'm like, yes. Because I'm like waiting for someone to be like, hey, let's just do this and just like push our schedule back for the day. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
But it was so good. It was so good.
Where did you guys go?
We went to
Cactus.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Downtown?
Yeah.
I know getting out is just such a huge deal, right?
Yeah.
You have to.
It's like nice to like dress up too and just
hang out.
Just to hang out, and not talk about business.
So after competing with Miss Universe Canada, what did you do right after?
After Miss Canada, I moved to Vancouver. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a famous actress.
I love it.
And then when I got there, the reality hit that it was like, wow, you really can't act. No, I tried some short films and they were just really embarrassing. And then I did some Hawaiian tropic contests. I was just trying to get some exposure. Yeah. But I realized after, watching myself back that I have a face for radio. No, I'm just kidding. So I was like,
my boyfriend always says. I says it all the time.
No, I was just like, I'm gonna take film production. I like the idea of like directing, writing, or producing. And
she'd
so
be a comedian too.
Oh my god.
You should put that on her.
So I went to the British Columbia Institute of Technology. That's like Alberta's NAIT. Oh. And I learned filmmaking. So everything from script writing to, financing to directing, sound editing was like a whole encompassing. That's so awesome. That you're, as you left the program, you were able to produce your own kind of video. And then I worked for CTV News Vancouver, which was like totally opposite of like my training. And I didn't feel like that was my vibe. So I did some corporate videos and weddings. And then I had my children, and I thought, I really just want to make a documentary on, something that's intriguing to me. I've always loved horror films and myths and legends and anything Indigenous. So I started a documentary about the Indigenous perspectives of Bigfoot, Sasquatch. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was like totally random. My partner is a friend of mine, and he is he was a watchman on this island that was like an old historical Indigenous island, and he watched over it. And my dad has a boat in BC, and we would cruise around the coast, and I met this guy, and he told me a scary story, and I was really scared, and I don't really get really scared, so I'm like, I'm scared.
About the Sasquatch?
No, he just told me a scary story, and I was like, this guy is really scary. Like, I am freaking out right now. So we became good friends. His name
bonding on
I was like, I love you because you scared me, and you're gonna be in my life forever. So we made
control what scares you.
And they've been business partners since.
So we teamed up, and he's like, do you want to go look for Sasquatch with me? And he invited me on this documentary expedition called Operation Sea Monkey. And I was the second camera on that one. And it was like produced by a guy from the American military. His name is Todd Neese, and he had seen 3 Sasquatch in the late 90s. And so
they are real.
Well, he's been looking for it ever since, and he was invited by my friend Tom to go kind of explore BC's coastline. So I went on this expedition with these dudes, and it was
in the wilderness.
It was crazy.
How long was the expedition?
It was 1 week.
Ole.
And they called me Goldilocks. So everyone had like radios. They're like, Goldilocks to Papa Bear, come in. And I was like, I'm freaking out, guys. What's going on here? But we did 24-hour surveillance on different beaches. We had ground sensors set up, and we were looking for any signs of Sasquatch or Bigfoot.
So do you believe, or did you believe in the Sasquatch before you took on this expedition?
I wanted to believe in it. I mean, I always thought it was like interesting. I watched Harry and the Hendersons, like, you know, that movie. Like, okay, well, it's about a Bigfoot. That anyway.
We'll put that in the link.
I don't know if this is this my audience, but okay. Anyways, I wanted to believe, so I was like, yes, I'm in. Plus, I love adventure and excitement and that sort of thing. But yeah, no, some crazy things happened. Like, we went to this island that was totally abandoned, and when we got on, we heard drumming noises, like boom, boom, and it's like, before you go to these islands, you should leave kind of an offering of tobacco or something, just to, you know, as a respect.
Yeah.
And so we left our tobacco, and then I'm like, I hear drumming. I want to go home now.
So wait, but just to give context, how close is like potentially another civilization, or like is there like a town?
There's nothing around. It's the Broughton Archipelago.
It was just you guys.
It was just us. It was us on a yacht with about, I think there was 7 of us.
Actually, I wouldn't mind that.
You know what? It sounds amazing, but I actually threw up. I was so scared. And they have that on film. And I'm like, great, yeah.
I can't wait to watch
Put that one in there. Yeah, but this was for Operation Sea Monkey, which was kind of what got me started into the Bigfoot thing. And then I decided with my partner Tom that we would shoot our own, because he was the indigenous guide for these guys that came from the United States. And so we started our own kind of show. And we were going through the coast of Vancouver Island and kind of interviewing elders and people from different reserves just about their experiences. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys. So this is, my company is called Wild Women Media, and this is a cedar bowl that my partner made. And this is from his culture, the wild woman of the woods is what they called like the Sasquatch.
So it's a woman. Bigfoot is a woman.
They're,
Is it?
Well,
or is there gender?
They're gender neutral. No, I'm just kidding. They are actually, yes, there's
I love that.
No, I don't know if they're gender neutral. Yeah, there's men and women. They have families.
Oh.
So
There's baby Sasquatches out there.
Yes, my aunt saw a juvenile Sasquatch.
What's that?
A baby.
Like a
teenager.
Like a teenager.
What? That'd be so cute. Wow. Can we cut that?
Just add a picture of Sasquatch.
Okay, but anyway, so Wild Women Media it pays homage to the wild woman of the woods, which is a Sasquatch. So this is his art, and his name is Tom Seawood, and he has a group on Facebook called Sasquatch Island, which kind of will give you more information. And so I just film all the cool stuff that he does.
I love the details in the art.
And is he based in BC as well?
He's based in Washington and in BC. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah, he's a commercial fisherman,
and he's the one who have seen them.
Yes, many times.
Wow.
So he has a camp in BC that we went to, and he has a Sasquatch that terrorizes that camp.
Yeah.
So we spent the night there to see if
you can just
it would come.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was freaky. Like, it's just freaky when you're alone in the woods. And I'm not really alone in the woods, but these guys, they spend time alone in the woods. And
when you say terrorize, what does that, like, what evidence?
They throw logs. They scream. They bang on trees. They make like really aggressive noises, like territorial noises.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So like, has the cabin like what, like there's broken windows, or like what about the cabin has evidence of?
Well, when he had his encounter there, it was just staring at him, kind of like peeking above.
Oh my god.
Oh,
And they're just covered in hair.
Yeah, and
Like-
you're not supposed to look them in the eyes.
Oh.
why?
I don't know.
We don't want to know.
I don't. You don't want to know why. I don't know why.
So don't go
I think because
into-
it's kind of like an animal, right? And it's like you're.
Yeah.
So don't go into a forest and don't look at their eyes.
No, go into the forest and see if something happens. Like, I want to know, and if something happens, please call me,
yeah.
and then let's go investigate.
And she's gonna bring her film crew.
Yes, and we're gonna find out. Like, I interviewed so many interesting people, and what I find fascinating about it is that they all have seen the same thing, and
That's
these
so
are like
cool.
different people. They don't know each other. It's like,
And they describe it the same way.
yeah, it's like, are you all crazy, or or are we just not seeing anything? And we don't go looking.
Yeah.
Like, there was nobody where we were looking on the coast of BC, and then we would get a call and be like, we just spotted one. Someone just spotted one. And we're like, oh, we got to go back this way. There was just spotted one. Or we drove up to like a fishing camp and, we said, hey, is there any activity? Have you heard anything Sasquatch? Oh yeah, we heard a screamer last night. And I'm
Wow,
like,
that is
what?
so bizarre.
Yeah. So you can go on YouTube and you can listen to like screamers,
Oh my gosh.
and you can hear them screaming in the woods, and it's freaky.
Like, see, this is where I'm like being the devil's advocate. I'm like, what if it's just another human
Yeah.
that's just camping,
Screaming.
just screaming? Maybe they're doing like I don't know, an animal call or something, or like when coyotes like
Yeah.
make like noises. It could be a
Exactly.
combination of so many different things.
When I was on Operation Sea Monkey, I think everybody on that expedition had seen it except for me.
yeah,
So I'm like,
skeptical.
I don't know, you guys,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And then, what if it's a bear,
Yeah.
right? And you're just so scared. And
you start to hallucinate or
so
something.
many people, when they're confronted with that, their first instinct isn't to grab a camera and take a picture. It's like, run for your life.
Yeah.
So
that's
a
true.
lot of the pictures and evidence that's out there, you could be like, oh, that's fake, or that doesn't look real. Well, it's really hard to be in that mind frame when you
Yeah.
see something that that people think doesn't exist.
Yeah.
The guy from the military that is my good friend, he said that he stared at them. He was doing explosive testing in Washington, and
Yeah.
he stared at them for 25 seconds. So when you think about it, 25 seconds is a long time to study something, like, So from his, and since then, like, he's been looking for them. He's just like,
That's
it's
so
taken-
specific. 25 seconds.
it changed. I know, because I think, oh, it's 25 seconds, like, whatever. He just saw it for 25 seconds, but that's actually a long time
I know that
to
is.
stare at something. And, his detail that he describes, you can look him up too. His name is Todd Neese, and he's been on like Unsolved Mysteries, and
His name sounds so familiar.
yeah, he's really cool. And also you can look up my partner Tom Seawood. He's got tons of podcasts and YouTubes, and where he talks about his encounters and stuff. And
That's
Whoa.
crazy.
yeah, so when you hang out with these people, you're like, okay, believe it, right?
And it's crazy because they all seen the same thing, like different
yeah.
times, right? So that's
And then
unusual.
what I do is I incorporate it with the indigenous legends
Yeah.
of the area. It's like, oh, what does this legend says that, these Sasquatches, or the wild women of the woods, puts bad kids in a basket and steals them into the woods. Like, if you're misbehaving, this creature will put you in a basket and take you to the forest. But, are these legends just used to, like, keep kids in line, or is there some truth to them? So
Well, I'm so interested now. Where can we watch this documentary?
well, you can look at the trailer on my
Okay.
YouTube, Wild Women Media.
Okay.
It's on YouTube and also on my website. And then the first episode should be uploaded soon.
Oh my gosh.
It's just going through some tweaks, but it's
How many episodes is in your series?
so far just one.
Okay.
But we're building it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you think you're gonna aim for? Is there a number that you're aiming for?
I mean, I'm aiming for 15.
Okay.
And I want to kind of travel to different locations. Like, we did Vancouver Island, but there's so much more there.
Yeah.
And I want to go up north. I'm from Yellowknife.
Yeah.
So there's a Bushman legend from my
that
area.
is so cool.
And when you see the one from my area, he's like a warning spirit. It's like, get out of this area now. Like, oh, I saw the hairy man. Like, time to go.
Time
right?
to
Which is
book it.
which is it's instinctive. Right?
So it's a 10-second scare.
Yeah. Like, I stared at that for 1 second and I noticed that I needed to go immediately. Yeah.
So when it comes to filmmaking, as you're on this expedition, are you like, is the camera always on?
Yes.
Or yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's hard because it's not scripted. So that's where I struggled with like kind of editing. It's like, what's the story here? But it's documentary style, so we just watch them and let them go.
Yeah.
They're doing their thing. We had an amazing guy. He's an animal tracker. He found undiscovered species of sea serpent in Norway. So he finds undiscovered sea serpent or animals. His name is Adam Davis, and he was amazing. Like, just watching him track and how he looked and things he looked for. Like, I learned a lot. And yeah, you're just following them, and you're following them into like brush and
that is so cool.
like, God bless my cameraman. He's always down to like, you know, get dirty and get wet, and it's like, okay, just, you know, they're going over there and follow them.
Yeah.
So you guys have, how long did it take for taping?
Well, this whole project has taken about 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy.
So anytime I can get away from my kids, I go.
Yeah.
I brought my husband on the last one,
Yeah.
and that was really fun that he got to experience that.
So he also got to camp out in the
Yeah.
woods.
That's awesome.
And I felt safe with him. I was like, okay, like,
if anything happens,
scared?
you're going first.
Did you get scared?
no, I wouldn't say he got scared, but he was like, this is wild. This is wild woman media.
So could you take Callie and I?
Yes, I could.
I feel like we're not.
I feel like
trained.
our pageant training would help us.
Give me a
What,
pair
are
of
we gonna like
heels.
walk out of there?
We're gonna pose and keep us completely still. No one will see us. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, definitely come out, because I'm not like a bush woman by any means. And so, you know, when I'm out there, I'm like, this is freaking me out. And
Yeah.
they
Do you
kind
need
of
to have like a professional training before you go? Like, did you have to like?
no.
No.
My family's adventurers, right? So
Okay.
they've always they have boats, and we've always camped in the woods and stuff. So they're like, let's go do something crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's kind of, we're outdoorsy, but I wouldn't consider myself like outdoorsy.
Yeah. So like you like being with all these people, it's easier. But like, let's say you didn't have your team with you.
I would
like,
not go.
You would not go. Like, you probably had cancer. Like, it's hard to survive.
There's
like, what
no
do you do?
way.
Like, you like learn how to make a fire. And
So
stuff.
one night they asked me to do surveillance. They're like, you're on the 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. shift. And I was like, wow, thanks.
By yourself.
Yeah, on the very top of the boat. And I had 3 different beaches that I was surveying with night vision. And it's very
So
dark.
How many flashlights?
None. Like,
Oh
there's no
my.
flashlights. You're looking in the dark, right? It's night vision.
Yeah.
There's like some theories that they're nocturnal, but we've seen them in the day. I don't really know. The theories are many. So, I see something. I'm like, oh
no.
my Lord. Roger that. Like, Papa Bear, come in. This is Goldilocks. We spotted something. There's movement. There's bipedal movement, which means like 2 legs walking. I woke everybody up. And they're like, what's going on? What did you see? And they're all looking, and it was a bird. But,
Wait, a bird
sorry.
with 2 legs? What do you mean?
It's
like,
called a heron. A blue
like
heron.
a big bird.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh.
yeah. So
Oh.
it was walking, but it wasn't a Bigfoot. And, you know, that's what you get when you put me on the night shift, because I saw it and I was freaking out. But yeah, there's other times where, you know, I've thought I've seen something and I'm just so scared to actually see something.
Yeah.
You know?
You're like, I'll look, but like the moment something moves,
Because you know, we all set our
And
intention.
you see the Bigfoot walk right by.
We all set our. I was like, let's do Bigfoot yoga, right? Like, we reach down and then we reach up. Like, I was like trying to incorporate weird things that I could relate to, and they're like, Bigfoot yoga, no. Right? But anyways, no. When we when we see when they do their thing, like I just like to watch them. Like it's not really about me at all.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you guys do? I can tell the story and kind of shoot them and have the vision in my head, but I am not a Bigfoot hunter. I'm not a cryptozoologist, or you know, I'm just a filmmaker mom who's like, this sounds cool. Yeah,
it's so cool to experience that, and then going on these voyage.
Yeah,
like
it's almost like
definitely no phone service or anything.
There sometimes, yeah, like you run and get service, and then you're like, okay, sweet. Like there'll be like a spot of service where everyone stops and they're like zoned out on their phones and uploading their pictures and stuff. But yeah, for the most part, there's no service. A lot of our equipment stopped working at this one location, which, you know, one of the guys we were with said, I told you, like the Bigfoot messes with electrical energy.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I'm listening, right? Nobody else is listening to, but I'm listening. What did you say?
Yeah.
Pardon me? Anyway, he wrote the book called Quantum Bigfoot. His name is Ron Moorhead, and he's super fascinating. So, like, a lot of the guys that I've got to meet are just so cool. I'm like, you guys are so cool. I feel so lucky to be part of this.
That's so cool. So what's your role in the movie?
My role is director and producer. Cool. So I kind of get everybody together. Mm-hmm. We figure out what we're going to be doing for the day, and I hire a cinematographer and an editor, and I kind of just shoot what I want to shoot. Cool. And watch them do their thing. But it's a little different than, you know, having a scripted. It's not scripted at all. So everything that we found and we saw that is in the episode is real.
So, like, are you walking alongside the cinematographer and you're just like, okay, get that.
Sometimes, like, yeah. Or I'll just be like, could you go and follow them? Yeah.
And so then when it comes to you creating and cutting and putting this documentary together, you're the artist behind it. Like,
we have a mood in mind, right? Like, and I have the elements that I want. Like, I want it to be scary. I want it to be moody. I want it to have a certain look. Plus, I want it to really showcase Indigenous culture. And, so I work with my editor and we kind of pull things together. Cool. But there's been many times, you know, that it's been recut. And it almost feels like it's never going to be finished. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like never perfect, but there's that time where you have to just let it go. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, this is... So I think I'm finally at that. There's maybe a few more scenes that I might tweak, but I think I'm finally ready to let it go. Yeah. And then go to the next episode or, see what goes from there. Yeah.
Oh, that's so... I have so many questions, but maybe it's, like, probably not good for this podcast, but, like, I'm just trying to think, like, when it comes to a scripted documentary versus, like, a scripted, like, movie that you're producing versus this is, like, documentary where you're in the moment, like... How do you find the balance between, like, being in the moment and actually, like, being a part of that expedition versus taking a step out and just being like, okay, you're totally in it. That's the difference. Is that you're like, oh my god, get this right now, right?
Please, like, don't turn off the camera. Is this rolling still? Like, it's almost continuously rolling. That is so cool. Yeah. Because something can happen just out of the blue. Yeah.
And then you just missed it.
And and you're like, oh no. And then these guys aren't actors. Like, they have no training. They're not... You can't ask them, can you do that again? Yeah. Right? Because it's like... That's
weird.
Yeah. And it looks weird. Like, there's times where I'm like, could you try to do... And it just comes off so not authentic. So that's the hard part for me, is not really knowing where it's going. Because, like, you know, one night it's kind of dead, and then the next night there's footprints and sounds, and you're like, go. Yeah. Go follow them.
Turn on the camera right now.
That's so cool. So, from you working and putting together a documentary, you have a really cool project that is completely different.
So somebody saw, I think, my trailer on YouTube, and contacted me and asked me to direct a feature film in Vancouver Island this summer, which is sort of similar to the Bigfoot style. Like, it's in the horror genre, but it is... so I'm really excited for that. It's like, I don't want to give too much away what it's about, but it's a feature film, and this will be my first feature film.
Which is so awesome.
It also has an Indigenous element, which is right up my alley, and it is, it's shot on Vancouver Island, so it's like, I'm used to that location. That's where we shot the Bigfoot stuff. So yeah, he contacted me, and his name is Steve SNYDER, and he's a voiceover actor from Vancouver, turned writer-creator. And so he created this really interesting horror movie that I'm really excited to be a part of this summer.
What is it called?
It's called The Cursed Hills. So, sounds scary.
Yeah.
And when do you start filming?
We start filming this summer, hopefully. Yeah. So we're still in the pre-production stage. We're getting the team built. But yeah, I'm really excited. It'll be my first feature film as a director.
And will you be camping out there? And like, I know you're not trying to.
No, I think this is going to be more of like, there's a script. Okay. So everything will be like scheduled properly, and it won't be so like on the fly. Yeah, it's not like a documentary style. So that'll be different for me, and I think it'll be more. It'll be really different, maybe more challenging, just because all the logistics of shooting everything in the day or at night or getting the locations.
I would love to like be able to experience and see the development of a movie or behind the scenes. Like that sounds so interesting.
Think we could come out there?
You can film a podcast.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
A live podcast.
Yes. And we would love to have like you and the team, and we'll pick your guys' brain.
Oh my gosh. Yes, please. Yeah. The creator he's a really cool guy, and I loved his script. Like when I read it, I was thinking like as a director, because he'd asked me before I read it if I would direct. So as I'm reading it, I'm thinking, okay, how am I going to shoot this? How is this going to work? I know there's a few car crashes, there's a fire, there's like all these elements that are really like, oh my god, I'm excited.
So you're gonna have is that when you have to have like a set designer? Yeah. Like you have a whole crew?
There's a whole crew gonna be there, yeah. So it's gonna be a little different, where it's like I have to let go of control a bit, because on my film it's like, okay, I kind of get to decide a lot. Yeah. And this one, it's like I'm excited to kind of be part of a big team.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Where there's lots of input and there's more.
So how long does it take to film a movie versus a documentary? Because
it really depends. Yeah. I'm assuming this one probably could be filmed like in 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we weren't hard every day, depending on weather and that sort of thing. Like a lot of it takes place in kind of one location. Well, there's different locations, but a majority of it takes place in like a cabin. So yeah. That could be really fun. Yeah.
And then we could ask you to come back when it's, launched.
I'm excited.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I have to refresh my brain on like how to actually direct, because I'll be working with like real actors. So finding, the motivation and kind of thing that they have to go through as a character, it will be really exciting.
What's your like biggest challenge for yourself, either right now or even just in general, when it comes to directing and producing?
Balancing my family with my work. Right? I have 3 kids, and I'm a mom. That's like my first job. My second job is like, my passion projects. Yeah. So yeah, it's balancing my family, and it takes a village to raise kids. So.
Heck yeah,
I thank my mother-in-law, my mother, my nanny.
Or if not, you just have to take them with you.
Oh yeah, my husband. Oh yeah.
How about when you're doing your job? Like, is there something that's challenging within the role of being a director?
Yeah, it's challenging to know where the story's going. For me, directing without a script was challenging, because I'm like, we kept on just looking for things, and it's like, where's that peak moment where we find something? Yeah. And then how do we turn that into like keeping you engaged?
Interested.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. Or a lot of the Bigfoot shows out there they just look so fake, right? And it's like, this is so silly. It's not scripted for me. Yes. And it's not fake. Like, everything that we're finding is legit and real and needs to be explained.
Yeah.
So there's one thing I want to ask, is we all are, what's very similar through all 3 of us, we're very creative. So we need to be in this mindset. What inspires you when it comes to creating these films or documentaries? Like, how do you get into the zone?
I love being in nature. So awesome. Like being outside and just feeling like you're part of the universe. I don't know.
You're grounded. It's like
Yeah.
grounded to like the earth. Yeah.
And I just get inspired by being in nature and realizing that, you know, you're just one little human in this big earth, and there's so many things that, you know, you don't know, that people are like, oh, Bigfoot doesn't exist. Well, how do you know that? Like, where's your proof that it, you know? It's just, you can't be so black and white.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that you don't know. Like, you know, there's endless,
so many unknowns.
Yeah, there's endless questions. So, yeah.
And there's so many theories probably that goes way back in time that these myths have, you know, came.
One of the oldest stories ever written, Gilgamesh, it was written on a clay tablet. It has a forest creature in it called Humbaba, who guarded the cedar forest. And I'm like, you know, there's been so many. That was 5,000 years ago. So
wow.
I'm like wondering if that has a connection to, or if the trees, like some people think, have a connection to these Bigfoot things.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
it's just
like,
creepy.
Like, so on, like, going back, how did you, like, what made you want to be in filmmaking? Like, was it just like something that you?
I think it was something I always wanted to be a part of. I thought I could be an actor, but I just am too shy. Right? It's like, oh God, watching it back is hard for me. Like, I can't look at pageant photos or any of that kind of stuff. It's like, even getting my picture taken, it's so cringy. But yeah, it was just something I always was interested in. Writing, directing, reading stories. I love stories and that sort of thing.
So what is your view on the reality behind the perspective of filmmaking? So you know how it's like completely too, you know how
it's like what the audience views versus like what is actually going on.
Yes,
I love how the
energy.
Yeah, I love how you can control that kind of narrative. Like, as a director or a cinematographer, is like you kind of get to decide what stays and what goes. So,
what feeling and what direction.
It's like, oh, you know, that's not a really, that scene doesn't mean anything. Let's just cut that out. You know, I like that control aspect.
Yeah.
Because if you saw what really was going on, like, you would be laughing your ass off, right?
I want to see that.
And it's hard for me to not want to make it funny, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, this is hilarious. Like, let's. But then
you're like, no, we're going for scary.
Yeah, I'm going for scary. I'm going for educational, and I'm going for, like, it is funny though, right? Yeah. So, but there's a fine line between like making fun of people and then like, you know, I don't want to make fun of anyone.
Yeah.
But it is hilarious. Like, what happens.
That's such a cool way of like, I feel like, you know, when we talk about like we switch hats in business, I feel like that you're switching hats on emotions.
Yes.
Like, in a way.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the music helps too. And like the everything kind of helps. But as long as I keep in mind that my main goal is culture preservation and culture promotion, Indigenous culture, like that's what my main focus is. That's what Wild Women Media is about. Like, it's Indigenous. I'm Métis, so my culture is really important to me. I was raised like extremely proud, and I like to showcase my culture in positive light. Yeah. And without doing like stereotypes, like negative stereotypes and that sort of thing. So
very cool. Oh man, now I'm coming from a marketing perspective because I'm my background's in marketing.
Good, that's what I need.
Yeah. So like when it comes to like in marketing, we're always thinking about the end audience of who's going to be viewing this and what are we trying to communicate. That's like all communication and like how they're going to receive information. So similar to filmmaking, you're thinking about the end person who's going to be ideally watching it. What is your process when it comes to like who's going to be watching this?
I struggle with that because sometimes I want to make it really scary, but then I have children. And I was like, I want my kids to enjoy this too. And I don't want them to have nightmares. Yeah. Right? So I'm like trying not to make it too scary. Yeah. But I'd like a broad audience. Like anybody who wants to be entertained, anybody who likes myths, horror, you know, the unknown, mysteries. Yeah. The color timing that I'm doing on the film is sort of like a Stranger Things colors, like lots of dark, lots of greens and that sort of thing.
Very
and then
moody.
Yeah. So it has a mood to it, and then the music is also like, you know, intense, and you're just like, oh. But I want my 6-year-old son to be able to enjoy it, and also like my grandmother and everyone in between. So
that must be hard.
Yeah.
To appeal to different, all like
Yeah.
a larger scope.
it's a different kind of audience who likes like Sasquatch and Bigfoot, and they're
Yeah.
really they're like a proud group.
Mm.
So I hope I can do them justice and
Yeah.
say, like, you know, this is my kind of take, with my partner, obviously, who kind of leads the way.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been fun.
Geographically, is there like an audience like that you're appealing to? Is like all of North America who can understand English because your documentary is in English?
Well, you know, it's not totally in English. There's Indigenous language in it. So I'm trying to show, like, you know, not everybody in Canada speaks English. Well, obviously we know that, but there's so many Indigenous
Or
languages,
French, yeah.
right? So I've actually interviewed some people in their language, and yeah. So I really want Indigenous people to like it, and my husband's Slovakian. And I had to explain what I was doing over there to them. And I'm like, monster. I'm trying to use these words. And then I'm like showing them pictures. So yeah, I mean, if the Europeans are into that,
I love that.
I'll take anyone. But Bigfoot has actually been spotted on every single continent except for Antarctica.
Oh, okay.
So there's
They're like, it's too cold up
Just
there.
White Sasquatches like a polar
there's
bear.
the Yeti in China. There's like there's a bunch, you know.
And I love how each of the cultures have their own myth of it,
Yeah,
right?
and the myths
Yeah.
are celebrated in song and dance, and it's really interesting to watch that, because I'm like, wow, maybe they know something that, you know, we don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why I was like interviewing people.
I'm gonna go home tonight and just YouTube
YouTube
Sasquatch.
the screamers. YouTube a screamer because you'll get scared. YouTube my friend Todd Neese's encounter.
We'll put this all in the
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll put them all in the link.
And
Yeah.
check out my partner Tom Seawood's all his stuff he does. So he's like the Sasquatch guy from Vancouver Island.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then you guys could leave a comment and let us know what you guys think, because
Yes.
I'm genuinely curious right now. Like,
Me too.
because I've always thought they were just myths, and like, yeah, you see them on I think it's Discovery Channel, I
Yeah.
think. But I'm like, my dad watches it, and I'm just like, whatever. But I've never encountered someone who's like literally on the hunt for Sasquatch.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
The hunt. Right.
The hunt.
But we don't want to hunt them.
Not hunt,
And
discover them.
I think I would love to have you back when you start producing. You're going to be 2 months out, right?
Most likely, yeah.
Oh, maybe.
You have me back, please,
Yeah.
because I really enjoyed being
Or we'll
here.
go to you.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
come to me.
we'll come to Victoria.
Yes.
We can talk pageants. We
Okay.
can talk Bigfoot.
Yeah.
What else could we talk? Pampas.
Yeah.
And pencils.
Storytelling. I
Yes.
think
Oh.
like between storytelling and marketing, I feel like that.
Okay, well then we need
there's
some. I need
much-
some help in that area.
Yeah.
And Orlandis is doing my kitchen, and we need to do that. And we were talking about like filters and stuff, and I was telling her like I
Oh my
filter my kitchen because it's so hideous.
Wait, what do you mean filter?
Like
kitchen?
anytime I take a picture of my kitchen, I put a filter on it
yeah.
because it's like
Just increase exposure to like
It's an
really bright
eyesore.
white.
We came up with a concept last year.
yeah, and we're ready to order now.
Yeah, so we're super excited to get out there and
Yeah, I feel like she has my dream job as like an interior
And
designer.
I think I want your job.
Like, I love your job. No, it's a lot.
Maybe we should switch.
You have to switch for the day.
Yes.
I'll
Oh
film
my
it.
I will be like just taking selfies in all the kitchens that she's in.
Oh,
Anyway, thank you so much. I don't know if we're wrapping up right now, but
Yeah, thank you so much, Victoria, for explaining all that. Because oh man, I feel like I learned so much. And like now, who knows? I opened up a new hobby of like looking at for Sasquatches.
yes. We will add your clip in the link as well, so
Yes.
everyone can take a look.
please.
Mhm.
It's
And
called
watch
The
it.
Other Tribe.
The other tribe. Okay.
Because
Yeah.
it's the other tribe.
Ooh.
That's so exciting. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank
are
you so much for
our
having me.
second guest host.
Yay!
Yes.
And yeah, I'm so grateful for you to.
You
share
guys are
your
so
story.
sweet. I appreciate the mug,
Yeah.
the ambiance. It's amazing.
So we like to kind of wrap up our podcast with sharing our goals for the next like little bit, whether it be like next week for you, because we won't see you till a while. Maybe share us with a goal that you're trying to achieve next.
Well, I'm in university right now, so my goal is just to get through exams.
Yeah.
And I have about 3 more weeks until they're done, and then my goal is to relax.
What are you studying?
I'm studying Indigenous Studies and Comparative Literature.
Cool.
Yeah, so I get to read all these old stories and kind of relate them to, you know, life.
To like, is that what comparative literature is?
Well,
Like
you compare literature.
Oh,
so
okay.
you kind of get to see how stories are similar and different, and
Oh, that's
it's
so cool.
really fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love stories, so
That's so cool.
it's a lot of reading and a lot of writing, but it keeps my mind off things.
I love it.
What's your goal?
My goal for the next little bit here is probably like kind of similar to my affirmation, is just to really set a routine. I think now that I do have a consistent schedule with having to, drive David to work, there is so much ability for me to have a set schedule, whereas before it was like very up in the air. So just like really creating a routine. Yeah. How about you, Orlando's? What do you?
So my goal is to take care of myself, because in order for me to take care of myself, then I could pump out those creative juices. So I'm training. So I'm going to train this Sunday with my cousin outside for running. So I want to keep running, and then also take care of myself. So doing like, I have so many books that are on my nightstand. Like I have like 5 books that need to be read. So I want to read. I want to just like sit in nature, go for walks. So like I guess just taking those 20 minutes
Self-care.
Yeah. So then I could just pump out those creative juices for my affirmation.
And it's so nice outside now. Like for me,
Finally.
I guess I actually feel like taking a walk and like going to grab a book and just sitting at a park and stuff. So.
Oh yeah,
Totally.
Yeah.
I agree.
I love that.
And hiding out.
Yeah.
I know I've said that so many times this episode. I'm like, Orlando's wants to hide out.
Escapism. Let's
Hiding
go.
out in BC. I mean, cut that out.
It's okay. I'll be on Victoria Island looking out for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope one of you guys do ever see a Bigfoot, and then you can
I'm gonna call you right away.
call me. I'll be like, I'll be right there. What did you see?
One thing that I would love is to kind of check in with you, especially when you're going to be directing the summer, which is
We can do like a Zoom call or something.
yeah.
And
Oh, that'd be cool.
like there's a creature in this film, so maybe you can see like
Yeah.
a furry hand or something.
Yeah, either if we're down there or we check in and like, yeah, I'm sure like
We could do a road trip.
Oh,
or fly over to
even
Vancouver.
better.
We can like have a little holiday, but then just check in and be like, hey, can we come in for
If you're gonna
the
be
day?
able to see, yeah, definitely. I'm all for that.
We'll be quiet. We'll just like observe from the background.
We're gonna definitely do that. We're gonna put that into
I
our
need you for
guideline.
moral support.
We got you.
So thanks for hanging out with us, and we have a next guest. So due to our launch of our podcast, we've been pumping out episodes every week. So our new standard is now we're going every bi-weekly.
Yeah, I think we really wanted to get the
2
ball
a week?
rolling. Oh, no, we're gonna cut down.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, because we really wanted to like put out content to get the ball rolling, and now that we kind of have that structure, we're like, okay, let's take it down a notch. And also it's busy season for both of us, so we're gonna do an episode bi-weekly.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And our next guest host is actually my business partner with Top Contracting. So I'm going to have him on here, and he's going to be talking about the renovation world and how he got in. So,
Yeah, I think it's gonna be guest speakers from now on. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. I'm so glad I got to come.
Yeah.
Enjoy
Thank
it.
you.
So next episode, we have Tyler Escott from Top Contracting and Tidum Cabinets. And,
Yeah, so we will see you in 2 weeks. Keep updated. Like, we're always answering our DMs and checking comments. So like, keep yourselves in the loop with us.
And definitely give us a follow, subscribe. We have all of our links of our platforms. So definitely listen, stay tuned on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And we're also on YouTube.
Yeah, and then if you guys have any suggestions for topics that you're interested in, I know right now we're kind of moving into creative creative content, but if you have ideas on topics relating to business or creative, shoot them over to us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.